the body that the Kabbalists describe for what's called Nehi, Nun Hey Yod Netzach Chod and Yisod, is the lower spheres, is below the hips. Your right leg is Netzach. Your left leg is Hod. And the way that the Zohar, the way that the Kabbalists explain it, is Trei Palge de Gufa, is the two halves of the body. And so the idea is it's really actually very hard to live with one without the other. They're critical. I'll explain it in what we do, and you'll see how it applies. If my right side is my strength. My regel, my foot, is what takes me places. But I can't, as strong as the right side is, I can't take a second step without the left. The two of them together are going to be what's going to allow me to walk. Why is walking important? Well, walking is, and by the way, if you note, in Shema Esrei, Malachim only have 1 foot.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Man is 2.
Get to that.
Right.
We put our feet together during Kadosh for this very reason. And I think the reason is because they don't have the struggle of having two opposing drives within them as we do.
Right. They're right. Those two sides, which are opposing, are also critical for moving forward. It's a paradox, but the paradox is what allows movement. So Shmona Esrei, right, or davening, is when we are in the world of the leiv, right? It's the avot of the leiv. We actually, the minhag for Hasidim to put on a gartel is actually halacha. It's just that you need something to separate the heart from the lower spheres.
Explain
what a gartel is.
Yes,
sure. So first, the halacha is that your heart is supposed to be separate from your erva, from the nude parts of the body. And it used to be we just wear like cloaks. So if you didn't have a belt that you would tie to the cloak, then your heart would see your erva, so to speak. What's happening is that your heart needs to be separated from the lower body. What you'll see, especially in the Hasidic world, is there's a piece of garb called a gartel, which is like these like black, or some people have white ones. They're like these belts that they wrap around their waist and they pull them tight. Right, it's a karate belt with the little tassels at the end. But really, like even wearing like a belt or a pair of underpants, like from a halachic standpoint, works. And even for Hasidim, I've spoken to those. If you're ever in a situation where you don't have anything else, you just tighten you can technically use your belt as your gartel.
Okay. So that's interesting. So this is halakha. It's just that some don't actually get a garb because we actually.
It's not necessary, right? From a halachic standpoint, it's not necessary because you already have it. Pants do.
But the idea is that we're compartmentalizing the upper half and the lower half.
Right. You're not moving. When you're davening, you want to be like an angel. You want to be in the world of the heart. But afterwards, you remove the gartel, so to speak, right? You now go into the world of the legs. The legs are what moves you places. It's what allows you to go out into the world. And so what's significant here is that we explain the idea of action, but what we didn't explain is that Netzach Hod Yisod is not just action, it's action into the world. It's affecting the rest of the world. It's the most dangerous in terms of the purity. In a lot of like deeper Sfarim, we'll talk about this idea that your internal world is all connected to this like flow of all of your inner self working together. There's a yichud, there's a oneness to it, there's a connection to it. But when it comes to the outer world, you don't have control anymore, right? We saw it a little in Chabad, and when I talked about the emotions being thrown places. But what's really happening is the outer world is affecting you. And it's a painful set of midos, of spheros, because what happens is that if you do what's right in your heart and you hold on to it, you get to control that world. You can put the right actions out in the world, and it doesn't matter. Things can get thrown out at you that are completely against or anti what it is that you did. You might do something and the exact opposite is what's going to happen. And there's other people interacting, and those feelings or those moments or where like I did everything right, and somehow this guy is still beating me, and the world is backing him, even though like we know that he's wrong, right? It's or like, I did everything right in this, and like and I'm not seeing the change. I'm putting it in, and I don't see the transformation.
Right. So what makes this whole paradigm interesting is that when you look at all the parties involved in this construct of man, everything happening in the external world is being orchestrated by Hashem, which is, I guess, it seems frustrating because he is the one creating all these unique situations, and then he embeds within us the Yetzirah that tries to get us to listen to the body, and we're trying to, but who we truly are trying to elevate the body. So it's really an interesting dynamic that Hashem created for us to work through here.
Right. So what you did was you impregnated the thought. You impregnated the process with a thought that's important. What you did, without even realizing it, was things are happening on the outside. What you did was you took a piece of Emunah and put it in your mind, and if it's worked properly and worked through, and obviously like there's easier moments to do that and harder ones, what you did was you actually transformed the experience. You took it from your mind, and your mind, if it goes into your heart, this is really Hashem, then when you go into the world, then you're taking the experience and elevating it. This is a godly moment, right?
Right.
Like that's the Gamzul Tova, that's the bitachon. It's the idea of taking everything's from God, and if you are able to elevate it back to God, so then it actually, even in the physical world, manifests in a greater way in goodness, like in clear goodness, right? And that's the Lubavitcher Rebbe would suggest when it came to this, to the idea of having to have faith, is to try, even at the moment when something bad happened, to try to grab on right away to something good about it that you can even see physically, to at least try to grab something like that.
Right.
I had a personal experience where like I grappled for 4 or 5 months, and honestly, in some ways, I grapple with it still now, about something that just didn't feel right, and like I felt like should have gone the other way, and I actually don't want to talk about this one too much in detail, but essentially, about 8 months later, something happened that made me realize had it happened the way that I wanted it to, it would have been a disaster. Something I was so sure was the right answer, was the path.
Right.
And it would have been disastrous. And it was just like, it was a moment of like recognizing it's something in business. And it was like, wow, thank God.
Right. I think it's this whole idea we're getting back, we're calling it a chariot.
Good. Yes.
That Hashem continues to put us in situations where it seems like the more advanced you get or the more you grow, he puts you in situations to where intellectually it doesn't make sense, and you're thinking, we need to go left, or there's going to be peril.
Go
and
left.
Hashem say, no, go right. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. So you can't walk through a sea, we'll drown. You know, it's always a sea situation where the Merkava means like you're just being the vessel, and you go where you're the one guiding you and driving you is telling you to go. Yeah,
it's hard. It's really hard.
Very hard.
I think for me, actually, Netzach might be the hardest midah to live. And let's zero in on it a little bit more.
Okay.
Now that we've done this, like I said, the background is critical to understand, because if you don't get the idea that this is the midah that goes from mind to heart to body or to action, and also the idea that this is where body is, and also where the whole other world, right, is, you don't really understand it. And it's the place where like things get difficult. So Netzach literally is translated as forever, or to conquer. So if you were to think about this in real life and why it's difficult and why it's challenging, what's really happening in life that's difficult is that consistently acting in a certain way will bring out a certain level of response. Everything I'm going to say, we have to balance with Hod, which is recognizing that everything is from God. But so I'm just prefacing that's the right and the left.
Right.
But move that aside, I'm going to talk in very much Derech HaTeva, and it might sound anti-religious, but it's not. The counterbalance is understanding God.
Right.
But your entire world, from the Derech HaTeva standpoint, and from the standpoint of like how you can change yourself, every single step that you take, every habit that you have, will define your life. Right? Like if James Clear is the Rebbe in Havdil, in the world of the secular world of Netzach. The idea of habits. He's the author of Atomic Habits. And in that book he describes how habits have compounding interest in your life. So like if every single day, like an example would be like this. Let's say every single day you walk a mile. Okay, I'll give that one. Shout out to Rabbi Wender, who is like the Netzach man of our community. If you ever watch in the morning after davening, every single day, consistently hot, sweaty, whatever it is, he's walking a mile after shul, and it's like 7 a.m. or 7:15. Everyone else is on the way to shul. He already got up and was like learning at 5 o'clock in the morning, like in the base measures before anyone gets there. He's doing Talmud Yerushalmi now, and then he has his davening and like everything, like consistent Seder time over and over. If you walk a mile, right, in the morning, so what happens? So first of all, it helps your health. It gives you more energy. But what else does it do? So you've now released endorphins into your body. So what happens in the next hour? So you're kinder to your wife. The beginning of your day is better. You might make a better choice because you have more energy about your food. Then you go to work. Work is going to be better because you were happier, right? And all of a sudden your interaction with your colleagues is going to be better. You're going to make better choices it might be with your wallet, with savings, what you do with your paycheck. If you do that and you have a better bank account now, so that's going to affect how you're going to interact with your decision. If you have an opportunity to go on vacation or to buy a higher quality microphone for your podcast, right? Like the idea is that like each thing, and that will affect something else. So the idea is that each time you do something, you elect for good, it affects something else. The next day when you walk, so not only are you getting the benefit, you're getting all the benefit from yesterday, and then you're doing it again, right? And it's the same idea of compounding interest with investments. You get 8% back, or whatever the number is, and then that money that came back into your account also will accrue more, right? More success.
Right.
And so the idea is that Netzach means the thing that you do, the pure, beautiful, positive version of that would be taking a decision of something good and putting it into the world every single day, over and over and over again. You're going to continuously opt on the system of doing good over and over and over again. With the Rambam, he talks about the mitzvah of tzedakah, which is probably one of the coolest, most beautiful versions of I call it this set of spheros kind of action that you could do. What's so special about tzedakah? Tzedakah, the money itself is actually a translation of who you are, of hours that you've dedicated and traded for this. Right, you put in an hour of work, and now it turns into money. So this money is now called damim. I think we mentioned this in a different class, but just for review, it's blood. Damim is one of the terms for money. It means blood. Your blood is in here, right? Because there was an hour of your day that was traded for this $1 or for this $10. Now you're taking a piece of you, you're putting it into the world, and you're sending it to make a difference. The Chavetz Chaim builds out, by the way, by the mitzvah of chesed. He says, what you don't understand when you do kindness to another, when you're actually affecting someone else. So the same way that we describe the compounding interest, that one thing might affect another, Chavetz Chaim says you get a reward for every single positive ramification that continues to come out. I give $100 to a gemach. The gemach buys some clothing for someone who can't afford it. And this person now feels better and has a better experience at shul and davens better. You get schus for the davening to be better. And what if he davens for someone to heal? You get schus for that because your chesed kept going into the world.
Right.
The you that is expanded into the entire world happens through Netzach. Right? It's an amazing thing.
Okay.
The power of Netzach is conquering. And now we can go to Moshe. We didn't even talk about Moshe yet.
Yes.
So Moshe is a fascinating character. Moshe, there's so much Torah on Moshe. The Maharal says like this. The Maharal says, do you want to know why Moshe is called Moshe? The reason Moshe is called Moshe, the name literally means to be drawn out. Minamai Mishisiu, I pulled him out of the water. He says that water is the birthing place of reality. Water is the physical world that doesn't yet have makom. It doesn't have structure. It's where it doesn't have place. It's where nothing has yet emerged. And you know there are things in there. You know there are ingredients in there, but they haven't solidified. By nothing more, if you put 2 drops of water together, you can never get those drops of water back. There's nothing solid about it. It's right, like it literally be a miracle. And when like a boat, right? A boat is the attempt of creating makom in the water. So, but when something is drawn from the water and it enters into the world that we're living in, all of a sudden something like a reality, a construct, a concept, now becomes something that is manifest, right? It's really, really interesting when you think about day 3, right, of creation, when all of a sudden the secrets of like what was going to come out, like, no, now it's here, right? And so water is a very, very interesting idea. It breaks things down. And
it's just, water is always symbolic to Torah itself.
Yes. Yes. And I'm actually gonna. Can you remind me if I don't tie that back in? Okay. Yes. Like with Moshe, that's perfect. Right, the idea. Right. And the truth is that the Torah exists. Like just in a simple term, like you're saying, the Torah existed before the world did. The world manifests out of the Torah. Like that. Right. The Torah is like this infinite light of God. Right. That's there, and everything comes from it. Right. Like and then you see it in its physical manifestation in the world. Is that where you're going with the water?
Yeah, and obviously there was time. We're talking about motion. We're talking about just as water is the source of all new things in life. Is obviously on a spiritual level, that's what Torah is.
Right, exactly. And you immerse yourself in it in order to come out better.
Right.
That's the mikvah, right, or the Torah. Right, you throw yourself in it, you come out. And there's a new being. There's a bria chadasha. There's a new creation that comes out. The idea of a baby in utero, right, is in the amniotic fluid. You're like the idea of the amount of water that has to exist. It's enough for an entire body to be inside. It's 40 seah. That's the measurement is for a human body to be able to fit inside and emerge. So like there's complete like new creation that comes out of the water. That's how we do it.
So in utero, the infant is in 40 seah?
No, sorry, not that much water. But like meaning, but for we replicate it by creating an amount of water that we have to come out of, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that would be impressive.
I really don't know how to visualize 40 seah water. So.
Yeah, it's a lot. So what I would say, I the truth is that it's hard for me to also, but like picture like one of the smaller mikvahs. But anyway, so Moshe had to be drawn from water. Why do you have to be drawn from water? So the Maharal, like Moshe had 10 names. The Maharal says Moshe is the one that we highlight. That's how we know him. Because what he represents is that a new existence had to emerge and come into the world in order to bring Torah down. The Torah hadn't entered the world yet until Moshe came. What is that? That's Netzach. Why is that Netzach? Why is that Netzach? Your internal world of your mind and your heart and the infinite power of the mind. Right? Like, imagine, this happened to me last night. I was davening and I just got pumped up. I'm like, I really, really want to exercise. Like, I get on the treadmill. I finished davening. Went right to the couch. The infinite power of the mind, the pumping up, the idea, the thought, the want has to manifest in it the first step. It has to come out. there's something called action potential, right? Action energy. After you take your first step to do anything, it's 40% easier to keep going. It's the action energy, like to make something happen. That first impulse of it was Moshe. The Torah in Shemaim, if you remember, Moshe had to go up and fight with the angels and rip it out of the sky, right? Like he had to prove it. And not only that, he conquered the universe. What we don't understand from that moment when he went up to heaven to get the Torah, once he had the Torah, he now had the keys to the entire universe. Because everything flows from the Torah. The Zohar says God looked into the Torah and created the world. The whole entire world follows that. The Malachim who battled with him, it gave him gifts. They gave him themselves. Like, we belong to you now. You can create us, right? You can drive the world through this. The entire universe. Anochi. The first word of the Torah, Chazal point out, is Ani Nafshi Ksavis Yahavis. I Hashem said, I don't remember the precise quote. It's from the Zohar. I wrote my soul into the Torah and I gave it to them. I gave them my soul. It was in the Torah. The Torah is one with God, and now it's one with us. And we plugged into the mainframe, and now we have the power to command it. It's a wild idea. What happened was that the mind and the heart of the universe, so to speak, now is it going to be here to affect the entire world. And not only that, for all of time it's going to, right? And that's Netzach. He conquered the world, and now for the rest of time, right, it's going to continue to be the thing that is guiding everything. That is Netzach in its most manifest, proper, aligned way. Is Torah starts, right, and then it goes from the idea of Chachma into the world of what's it called, into the world of emotions or Chesed Gvura Tiferes, which is the idea of the heart part, which connects the mind to action, right? And then it goes into action itself, and the whole world is going to follow the path of the Torah and everything that's in the Torah.